Welcome to the Girl Boss Method podcast, and I'm your host, richubrar. And so today we're going to talk about how metabolism changes as you get older. This was a question submitted by one of the ladies inside the program, and so we're just exploring this topic a little bit more for today's training. So firstly, as we age, several factors contribute to changes in metabolism, and these can impact our ability to manage our weight and our body composition. So firstly, muscle mass decline. One of the most significant changes is the loss of muscle mass, also known as sarcopenia, which sounds very, very extreme, but it is possible and it does happen. So muscle tissue is more metabolically active than fat tissue, meaning that it burns more calories even at rest. And as we lose muscle mass, our basal metabolic rate, or our BMR, decreases. And this leads to a reduction in the number of calories that our bodies burn at rest. And one more reason why it's so important for us ladies to strength train. So resistance training helps to preserve and build lean muscle mass, which is crucial for maintaining a higher metabolic rate. By engaging in regular strength training exercises, us women can offset the natural decline in muscle mass that occurs as we age, and thus supporting a higher basal metabolic rate. So I'm sure you've heard the term BMR thrown around lots. And obviously that is the rate at which our body burns or utilizes or uses up the calories. It's all about energy expenditure, but that's at the absolute minimal level. And then we can obviously add in other factors, etc., like activity factors, depending on whether we are sedentary individuals, or we are sort of depending on how active we are. And even if we are involved in fitness training or all sorts of various different activities anyway. So moving on, we're going to talk about hormonal fluctuations. Now, these are particularly apparent or important during the menopause, and this can affect our metabolism. So estrogen levels decline, which can lead to weight gain, especially around our abdomen. Again, that sort of lower belly fat. Estrogen does have some influence on muscle function and metabolism. Now, there is a hormone called estradiol, which is a specific type of estrogen hormone. So there are quite a few different types of estrogen hormones, but we're going to talk about estradiol. So it is the primary female sex hormone, which is produced by the ovaries. So obviously you've guessed it, when we're having or when we're going through the menopause, we are going to stop a lot of our normal female physiological processes. So things like, the periods are going to stop, and there's going to be a decline in various different hormones and stuff. So there's lots of different changes happening or occurring as we age. So estradiol, it plays a role in various physiological processes, including bone health, cardiovascular function, mood regulation as well. And then we've got anabolic hormones like testosterone and growth hormone, and these massively decline with our age, especially for our ladies. So men experience some decline in those, but women at a much faster rate. So generally speaking, our metabolic rate tends to decrease with age, right? So this can be attributed to a combination of factors, such as that reduced muscle mass, the hormonal changes, as we've talked about, and also lifestyle factors as well. So we know that individual metabolic rates can vary greatly, and these are going to be influenced by your genetics, your diet, and your activity level. We cannot change our genetics. We can make changes and affect things like our diet and obviously our activity levels. So often, as people age, their activity levels decrease, and this can be due to a number of factors. So busy schedules, actual physical limitations. So if that's things that have developed, so whether that's body things that have developed, injuries, or other things that may have happened throughout the course of life, and then also just various different lifestyle changes as well. So yeah, whether that's motherhood or whether that's career changes or even the caregiving for others as well, as we get older, sometimes fitness and activity levels, they can take a back seat, especially if they're not on the forefront of our minds and we're not focusing on them. They can just kind of like fizzle out, if you like. And so the less physically active that we are, that obviously means that we are using or metabolizing fewer calories. And this is going to further contribute to the unwanted weight gain in particular areas. So obviously we were talking about metabolism as our topic, and how that's affected and how that changes as we age. So as we age, our dietary habits may change, and this is going to impact our metabolism. So there are things like decreased appetite, changes in our nutrient absorption, so it's sort of our microbiome, our gut health, that sort of thing, and alterations in our taste and smell perception as well can affect food intake and nutrient utilization. So I know that as women are going through the menopause, they can have changes in their smell sensations as well. And I know it sounds so funny, but things like that can happen. And then, you know, you might be observant or aware that older people in your life, they start to experience that very decreased appetite as well. So there's lots of hormonal changes that are happening there as well. One of the most important ones that I do try and talk about as often as possible, again, this is related to insulin sensitivity. So this actually decreases with age, and it can lead to impaired glucose metabolism and potentially an increased risk of insulin resistance. So insulin resistance is basically the cells just not responding and they're not doing their job. I have talked about this on other trainings, and again, if you want me to share those videos or dive a little bit more into how what insulin resistance is, how insulin sensitivity is affected, and then also we're thinking about things like type 2 diabetes as well. So it's really important for us to manage those blood sugar levels, and we can do this via diet and exercise. And this obviously becomes extremely important or increasingly important. Resistance training is going to help with that muscle, with that glucose uptake and disposal as well. So obviously there is good news. Everything isn't doom and gloom as we age. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So as we get older, we can definitely, you know, these things can get scary. Yeah. But what we do know is that as we're young right now, we can definitely make some changes. So understanding these changes can still help us feel empowered as women. We can make informed choices about our health and fitness routines as we age. And we can focus on strategies like strength training and nutritional interventions to help preserve that muscle mass, maintain a balanced diet to promote that metabolic health, and staying active to promote overall well-being. So we want to ideally increase our metabolic tissue. We want more of that muscle. And so it's really important to avoid heavily restrictive diets. You don't want to spend your lifetime dieting, like hard dieting. If you've got a lot to lose, then you want to kind of like rein in, focus on it, And then we really want to, and look, everybody's journey is different, and it's not easy. I do get that, but I think there is definitely some value in knowing that it's not a lifetime feat. It's not going to be something that you have to do for life. We really want to think positively as we age as well. We want to focus on obviously increasing that protein as well to help our metabolic tissue. But as we age, we want to be in a position where we are really focusing on guiding our nutrition, to kind of fuel ourselves as we get older and prevent that, muscle tissue loss, and make sure that we've got that sustainable energy. Yeah, I mean, we could really go on about this topic, but coming back to exercise. So exercise, including resistance training, can positively impact hormone levels, such as increasing that growth hormone and improving that insulin sensitivity, as we've said. So this can help mitigate some of the hormonal changes associated with aging, including those related to the menopause. Exercise is also going to help with temperature regulation and also those hot flushes. Excuse the typo where I've written hot flushes for those of you that are watching the slides back. So resistance training not only strengthens muscles, but it also helps improve bone density, so reducing the risk of osteoporosis, fractures, which become more common with age. And this is why I say that heavily restrictive diets are not going to provide you with any value here. We don't want to be at a point where we just keep thinking weight loss, fat loss constantly, because this is not going to help serve us. There has to be a fine balance, right? We have to get to a point where we are just killing it within maintenance, that everything is not just about fat loss and weight loss. We have those periods within our life, and we can definitely do those things. We can do them in different seasons and for different reasons. So whether you've got that holiday coming up, or you want to feel a little bit more confident in and not worry so much about what you're wearing when it comes to the summer, that's totally fine. That is okay. But we have to realize also that we cannot maintain the same physique year round, but there has to be somewhere in the middle where it's not just, you're not just like a hamster on a wheel constantly chasing the same goal. So we also want to make sure that we're looking at building as well. So we want to make sure that we're fueling our bodies, fueling our muscles, and we want to increase, again, that, that bone density, reduce the risk of osteoporosis and fractures. Again, these are the sorts of things that can happen when we have a diet or nutrition that's really lacking, that it's just not supportive to your training, and it's not supportive to your life goals either. So I wanted to kind of put this little quote in, and it's called Strong, Steady, and Straight. And this is from the Royal Osteoporotic Society, 2019. And the idea of that is that us women, or people, even as we get older, we really want to focus on staying strong. We want to stay steady, and we want to stay straight. So we want to have those nice, strong, mobile spines. We want to feel like we've got really good balance, and we want to feel strong so that we can functionally get around and about our days, etc. So we are laying down the foundations here. So when you get to that stage, yes, weight bearing exercises is still massively important, and so is the light impact as we age. But right now, whilst we are in our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, we really want to be focusing on, laying down good foundations for life. And so when we're coming back to nutritional stuff, right, we want to focus, or in terms of focusing on a supportive nutritional lifestyle, we want to make sure that we've got a healthful diet. We want to get the fundamentals right. We want to consider protein for muscle, fats for hormonal health, which, believe it or not, are massively important as we get older as well. So none of this like fat-free diets and stuff, fads, everything focuses, again, when we're coming back to fat loss and weight loss, everything out there, all the different fads and the styles and everything. It's about finding what works for you. And ultimately, the fundamentals of all of them are creating some kind of calorie or energy deficit. Okay, not neglecting supplementation of vitamins and minerals. And again, especially for things like vitamin D, which is going to help our bone health and immunity. So we've been kind of quick with this topic today. And again, when it comes to like the vitamin D, there's a specific lecture on that one or discussion on that one as well, with some great slides on there and some information. Let me know if you want directing to that one. But ultimately, when it comes to aging, it's something that we have to accept is going to happen. We don't want to enter this or look at that phase of life as scary. You know, there are resources out there that we can draw upon. There are things that we can do now as well, whilst we are young and still thriving, and we can still feel young and thriving as we get older as well. It's just tackling things in a different way. But again, just to say, it's not all about fat loss and weight loss over the course of your life. You don't want to be 80 years old wanting to lose weight. At that stage of life, you want to be trying to keep up with your appetite. You want to make sure that you're functionally, you're thriving. You want to make sure that you're maintaining as much muscle as possible. You're staying fit and strong and healthy. And yeah, we're not falling into the negative areas really of aging. And I know that, you know, it's inevitable, but yeah, we're going to get through it and we're going to ace it. So anyway, that's enough for me on this topic. I hope that's answered your question or the questions that you've had surrounding this topic. If you've just stumbled across this podcast, this has been the Girl Boss Method podcast. And if you want to learn more, you can follow me on Instagram. You can reach out to me on there. You can find me at richubrar. That's RICHUBRAR. And if you want to learn more about the Girl Boss Method and how we incorporate fitness, nutrition, mindset, lifestyle, then you can shoot me a DM on there. And ladies inside the program, just keep smashing it. And we will see you here next time. Thank you.